Hey, happy Friday, everybody. I'm Eric. That's John.
Absolutely.
John's had a lot of Skittles.
I got him out
warning
with Skittles,
you now.
pardon me now, but we got a lot to talk about. Take it away.
Well, you get hungry when you got to talk about all of this stuff
I need
going
the
on
energy.
here. That's exactly right. It's raining. It's not a problem this afternoon or this evening, but it is raining. We told you yesterday all the snow is going to be gone. I don't see any more. My place, it was all gone. I'm sure it's the same with you.
Oh, yeah, and you called it yesterday. I mean, it makes sense, right? Yesterday morning, 18 degrees. I'm at the lake. And now we got temperatures, mid-40s.
Getting close to 50 now in a few spots, and we will get there later on tonight. There's your setup right now with rainfall. None of this is all that heavy. This is not a big deal. We've had some pockets of drizzle around Rochester. You've got another burst of light to moderate rain coming on in. Put a track on that. It should get here certainly by about 5 o'clock in Rochester. So bottom line is you're going to get more of this wet weather. Connect the dots with the moisture stream. It goes all the way to Dallas, Texas, which is
This is amazing to me.
1,200 miles. That we get to cover with this.
The swath of this is impressive.
It really is. I read something really fascinating. This came from our friends at the National Weather Service out of Buffalo. Something that we measure with moisture in the atmosphere, it's called precipitable water. Think of it kind of like a dew point, but in the whole atmosphere, all the way to the top of that column. The highest number they have ever measured in January out of Buffalo when they launched these balloons was, I think I read it was about 1.2 inches. They're forecast to have almost 1.4 tomorrow. So you have never seen moisture like this in January. That's how unusual this is.
And I'm thinking, I keep thinking back, if it was a normal January, we'd be talking about a massive snowstorm
1 to 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, which is
easy.
And this is a serious situation for a lot of people. Obviously, in the area you used to work, down in Alabama, the southeast, could be very turbulent and violent down there. And here we got flooding concerns, we've got wind concerns here.
And those are the two headlines that we've got. Now, it's the same 4 counties that are under these watches right now, and I do imagine we'll end up with high wind warnings here. I think that's probably likely. You've got Monroe, Orleans, Genesee, and Wyoming counties. Those are the 4 prime ones. Flood watches kick in Saturday afternoon. The high wind watch kicks in late Saturday night. So 1 to 2 inches of rain and winds gusting to about 60 miles an hour, both of which are going to be a big deal. How about this for fun? 64 degrees at 1 in the afternoon
I
tomorrow.
cannot get a handle on that right now.
So you may break some record high temperatures, and then let's just say you were taking a nap at 1 o'clock and you went to bed at 6.
Can I wear my jorts? Can I wear my cutoff jeans and go out and
I think you absolutely need to do that. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. So you wake up from that nap, and it's about 6 or 7 o'clock. All of a sudden, it's 36 in Rochester. This is a cold front, folks, and it is a cold front to remember. Look at where that contrast is. That's your front right there, 36 in Rochester, but you're still 60 in Olean. You're near 60 in Penn Yan and Ithaca and Elmira and Binghamton as well. We'll end up getting really close to freezing. You know, we've spent a lot of time talking about, do we get there for freezing rain? We're close enough. There will be some pockets of that, but right now the concern, I think, is probably more wind than anything else, and we even go back up into early Sunday as some of those damaging wind gusts start to work their way in. Here's how Futurecast sees it. Waves of light showers through the night tonight. Tomorrow morning is really interesting, and we're going to get into what we call a dry slot here. When I was in Alabama, we would see events like this, and we'd get really worried for severe weather because you can get the sun to come out in these dry slots. This is what gets you into the 60s tomorrow, only if the sun makes a cameo, and that might happen. That's the front. That's the leading edge of it. There it goes. There's your temperature drop. Heavy rainfall. This is where the flood watches start to kick in, and they will be training over the same areas. Waves of heavy rainfall. Freezing rain in Toronto, Canada by Saturday at 10. That freezing rain line makes it about halfway through Lake Ontario with some patchy valleys here, perhaps getting some of that. But remember, we're 60 degrees just a few hours before that, which is going to be, I think, fantastic news. Even if we get that ice, everything's going to be warm still.
Fantastic news on that front, yes. But when the winds crank up the next morning, maybe not so. The ground is soft.
Here's where the problem kicks in.
I mean, a lot of problems potentially.
Now, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are something that we deal with from time to time. We get a couple events like that a year. We've had a couple over the last few months. Where this one becomes more concerning to me, especially here. You know, these are going to be the spots west of Rochester that get close to 2 inches of rain versus maybe closer to 1 east side of Rochester. You get 1 to 2 inches of water that are soaking the soils, the root systems. You know, trees stand up because the roots support them, and they have ground to grip. When you have all of that water in there, the roots do not have the stability to grip anymore. They become top heavy, and you get gusts like this, guess what the trees are going to do?
Oh, that's hugely problematic. There's no question about that. And as you said, the ground's going to be so soft, the root system's so brittle because of that, because of the mild temperature, because of all that precipitation. You factor this kind of top gusts, that's a serious situation potentially.
And 1 to 2 inches of rain in January, to show you how unusual this is, Rochester averages the whole month of January about 2.4 inches of rain. We're going to get most of that in the span of 48 hours.
Amazing.
So this is a setup and a situation that could be concerning as we go into Sunday morning, and it wouldn't just be branches breaking in that. I'm talking full on, you will see trees uprooted, all those roots exposed. And this is almost the ideal setup for that thing to happen. Sunday we quiet down. I think most of next week looks relatively quiet here too. It's going to be tough to beat. I think that's an easy statement to make this weekend, is really where most of your action is at. But in more ways than one, that's where this goes.
I know you'll be all over it at rochesterfirst.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, and all the platforms.
See you on TV in about 15 minutes or so at 5.